So how are you doing today?
Okay.
Okay. How was the journey here?
The journey here was a little stressful.
Okay.
I had to drop my son off at my parents' house to be babysat.
Okay.
And I stopped at the post office to mail a package. And it turns out that I could save money if I stuffed it into a smaller envelope. So I spent a little bit of time stuffing the other envelope, and then I was a little bit rushed getting here.
Okay, so the last time we were focusing on your panic attacks. So how have your panic attacks been recently?
I'm still pretty nervous fairly often.
Okay. Can you tell me about your latest panic attack, the latest one that you can think of?
Well, it probably happened while I was driving my daughter home from karate class. It's a mountain road, like woodsy and mountainy.
Okay. Was this at night or was it during the day?
It was at night,
Okay.
Actually. It was at night. And I was coming up over kind of a turn and a hill, and there was some type of vehicle in the road, and I had to slam on my brakes. And so that kind of startled me and got me sort of anxious. But then I was able to calm down. Like, I calmed down a little bit. I was like, okay, we're just gonna keep driving. And I was trying to, like, come down from that. And then an animal ran across the road and just boom.
Oh my gosh, I can only imagine how you felt.
It just shot my anxiety right through the roof.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, whew. Anybody would have been startled during that moment. So if we're talking about that last panic attack, I want us to pay close attention to your thoughts and emotions that happened during it, and just bringing that to light. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
Okay, so a technique that I think you should use is helping to use a diagram. So you come here, I'll show you. So we're gonna draw boxes. This first box is the event. So you said that you were driving up the road and an animal came.
Well, the construction vehicle, some type of vehicle.
Right.
And then an animal, yeah.
Okay.
I think it might have been a squirrel.
Okay, so the first thing was the construction vehicle, and then the second thing was the squirrel. Okay. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna focus on the thoughts, the automatic thoughts that occurred when you saw the construction truck and then the squirrel. So we're gonna draw a second box here. So when thinking back, can you tell me what you thought instantly when you first saw the construction truck and then when you saw the squirrel?
Well, when I saw the construction vehicle, I had to slam on my brakes.
Okay.
And swerve a little bit, and I had my kids in the car, so I was a little panicked, but I tried to calm down and I'm like, all right, we're okay, let's just keep driving. And but then after the squirrel ran across the road, I just completely lost it. And that's when my heart started racing, and I started thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna have a heart attack, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna pass out behind the wheel, I'm gonna crash the car, I'm gonna kill my kids.
So you instantly thought that, number one, you were going to kill your kids. What else? Tell me what else.
That I was just gonna pass out or die behind the wheel, and we'd all end up in a fiery auto crash.
Die behind the wheel, and then end up in a fiery auto crash. Okay, so those thoughts spur specific feelings and emotions, physical things. So let's reflect on that. And the next thing we can do is we can draw another box here. And we come up with different physical and emotional feelings that you felt during that time.
Well, one thing that I know for sure is that I started having like palpitations.
Okay, so that would be physical.
Yes.
Okay,
And
palpitations.
Whenever I get those, then I just completely, that it scares me. It's just really frightening for me.
Do you blank out?
No, I guess because of the adrenaline or whatever, my heart starts racing and it skips a few beats here and there.
Okay, so can we note that as a physical effect of it?
Sure.
So your heartbeat skips beats. Okay, what about your emotional feelings? How did you feel? You
Just terror. Just terrified.
Can you rate that terror on a scale from 1 to 100? 1 being the lowest amount of terror that you felt, and 100 being the most extreme amount of terror that you felt.
That one was definitely up there. That one probably a good 95, if not 100.
95. Now, did this occur for both the construction truck and the squirrel, or just specifically the squirrel?
Well, just the squirrel.
Okay.
I mean, I think if it had been just one of those things, I might have been able to like talk myself down a little bit, but once the squirrel came across after the construction vehicle, then it was just too much.
Okay. Okay. So the next thing we should do is, you said that you thought about swerving. So we can look back and think about the actual physical behaviors that came about from these feelings, this event in total. So tell me, what did you do once you saw the squirrel?
I don't recall if I slammed on my brakes for the squirrel or swerved, or if it just ran across the road on its own. I don't exactly remember what happened. I know I had to do it for the construction vehicle.
Okay.
But I do know after that, like I just started like white knuckling the steering wheel and
You're
just
clenching it pretty tightly.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. What about your feet? Were your feet doing anything specific?
Well, my whole body gets kind of agitated. Like I get like shifty, stuff like that. I tried to make a phone call, because sometimes when I have panic attacks, it helps if I can get a hold of somebody.
Were you able to get a hold of anybody?
No, because there was actually no reception on that mountain road. So I was kind of like juggling the phone, having a panic attack, trying to drive the car. It was pretty intense.
Do you think that that increased your terror that you felt?
Not being able to get a hold of somebody, yes.
Yes.
And it probably actually increased my chances of wrecking the car too, if I look at it logically.
Okay. So, I want to go back to the panic attacks that you get often. What do you usually do during these panic attacks? We just looked at the actual actions that your body, what occurred after the squirrel, like what you actually did. So in total, looking back at these panic attacks, what can you note that you do physically?
Well, do you mean like my heart racing and stuff like that?
No, like just how do you handle the panic attacks? What do you usually do when you know that you're having a panic attack?
Well, I usually, if I'm driving, I usually try to get home, or
You also said that you try to get a hold of somebody while you're
right.
having a panic
I
attack.
try to call somebody if I can, because it helps if I could, like, basically the way I feel is if I die, at least somebody else is on the phone to know that I've died.
That's pretty interesting. Um, what about the kids? Are your kids around usually when you have these panic attacks? And if they are, what do you do?
Sometimes they are.
Okay.
And I can honestly say they don't help the situation because they are oblivious to my suffering. They don't necessarily know that I'm having a panic attack, so they are still, asking me questions and, Mommy, can you get this? And just not necessarily making it any easier. And I do still try to get what they need and, take care of them as best I can. But it's definitely not easy.
You told me prior that your oldest is 12? 10, and your youngest is 4.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. And do you think that if they were able to understand that you were having a panic attack, that would help you in overcoming the panic attack?
I think my daughter does. I think she understands a little bit, but my son, he doesn't care at all.
Because he's only 4.
Yeah.
Right. And when you were thinking about the possibility of you dying behind the wheel because of this event, what did you think about the kids? Did you think about the possibility of them dying by any chance?
Sure. I mean, or them staying alive and me being dead and them just panicking in the car and like, oh my God, we wrecked the car and Mom's dead.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay. So, I think the biggest thing that would be effective in overcoming these panic attacks is working on the automatic thoughts, especially your mom. So you're concerned about the safety and welfare of your kids, and this was a specific situation where that safety and wellness was definitely tested. So I think that the biggest thing that we should, try to understand about the automatic thoughts is that they're not necessarily life or death. They're automatic, they're triggered by a specific event, but we can work against them. And in working against them, that'll help us to reduce the anxiety that you feel during these panic attacks. So if it's okay with you, I would like to assign you a little homework assignment.
Sure.
So the next time...
Sounds like fun.
The next time you notice that you're going to have a panic attack, maybe taking the approach that we took today and creating a little chart. So what you would do is you would indicate the event. That'd be the first thing. Because you have to understand what is triggering these panic attacks. And then linking that event to the automatic thoughts that you feel. Terror, panic, being frightened, being scared. And then from there, what we would do is we would look at the feelings brought on by these automatic thoughts. So for instance, today you noted that you had palpitations and you felt terror, and your terror for this specific event was on a scale of 95 out of 100, which is pretty high. And from there, we can look at the actual behaviors that happen during these events.
I mean, we did make it home.
You did make it home.
Yeah.
Right. So, the next time you notice that you're having a panic attack, I really want you to take the time out to really try to fill in this chart.